أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. The probe continues with the aftermath. We will get to the aftermath of the arrival in Dakar. This is the second embarkation, or as we can say, this is known as the 12-year arrival. So those who were there the last stayed 12 full years without leaving the soil of Africa. We will get to that part. However, as we mentioned before, when clarity needs to be revisited, we will do such at the variations depending on the circumstances. When it comes to incidents, very important, yes. However, names are just as important. Places, very important as well. At this point, we have the Africa narration in experience, or according to the experiences, I should say. We will also discuss the recreational and leisure, or we should say as youngsters, playtime. We will discuss that. We will have to get into nit and bitty pieces because we're discussing Africa. So just as a means of caution, there are certain incidents which have violence. The societies are different. That is no justification by any means. Yet it is definitely there. There is what we find in just every society. So we will get to that. But we had to go over the names of the following who were at the Islamic institutes or the Islamic settings, the prayer settings in New York prior to the first and second embarkation. At this point, Malika Mauna Muhammad is definitely mentioned, not only as being mother of the children sent to Africa for the mission that she had chosen. We also mentioned Sheikh Muhammad Mustafa Gainde Fatma. His narration, due to the fact that the end of what we can narrate from that point, he was there. So he will continue his narrations, or his narrations will proceed. However, again, the likes of Imam Ibrahim, I believe Brooklyn, New York, must also be brought up. Sheikh Said Adli, he also was at the institution. This is the same Sheikh Said Adli from the Carolina. Khalid Yassin, Imam Khalid Yassin is also a third, very important. Principal, we have Principal Al-Madrasa Al-Islamiyya, Imam Basir, Abdul Basir. There is Sister Ismaila. Sister Ismaila is also there at Al-Madrasa Al-Islamiyya. There is also Sister Safiya. She was definitely there. Now, many of the names may or may not sound familiar. However, going forward, they will come back. There is also Imam Dawood. Imam Dawood was also there. He was the one mentioned in the book, We Were American Muslims, as being concerning but confrontational at the airport with mother about sending her children there. There is also from the training camp, summer training camp of Sheikh Abdul Malik, rahimahullah. He is belated. And I believe there are, or there could possibly be, so far, 2 more, at least maybe 3 more. We will get to the names and, as they, come back. However, the discussion at the very first long-term home in Dakar, owned by one and only Pap Abdul Karim Fall, AKF or AKF. So we will pick up the narrations from here in terms of the probe. This, again, is a fact-finding mission. It is not a mission of pointing fingers at anyone or any group of people. It is to determine the cause and the effects, but particularly the roots of the Quranic Revolution 2021. We will give similarities and differences of the narrations and of the incidents, the environment. Also, we will give clearer and most mindful narrations of it. We leave Tuba again in the middle of the night, and yours truly must have been asleep the whole way. I do believe from the moment we get into the car that nothing has any meaning anymore. When a person puts their mindset in that position, or when that thought crosses a person's mind, it is a very, very, very dangerous position for the mind to be taking over that way. Wa bismillahir rahmanir rahim, for only the one who Allah has mercy on will survive that danger. Yes, that is for any danger, but imagine one who no longer has the ability of using their mind. We get to, the duration between Tuba and Dakar. For those of us who may or may not recall back in those days, we still are talking a good 3 hours. And this is on the high end. Why? Because the time of night it was. Now, The narration of Gaynde Mustafa, Sheikh Gaynde Mustafa, Dad, says that he was told by Pap Abdul Karim Fall that Pap Abdul Karim Fall, that is, was in Paris at the time. He was in Paris taking care of his yearly business in Paris. I would assert to the fact that it included medical treatment. The medical professionals in Paris happened to be professionals who specialized in whatever he was treating for at the time. He is, belated now. I, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, would feel and fully elaborate on a later time about his medical condition. I think that is better suited for the direct relatives, Papa Abdul Karim Fall, rahimahullah. But the probe is more interested or is more focused on the causes of so the Quranic revolution has a path, and it does not again include going after pointing fingers or what have you. So the medical portion of it, although I understand that there are constituents who would like to know more about that, I will leave that again to the family. If there are other attaches who also have similar questions, then yes, fatabarakallah. May Allah reward you for whatever it is that you are pursuing, as long as it's with good intentions. But the narration is that Sheikh Gaynde Fatma, and for those of you who do not know, we do have different communication channels where, although our speakers are muted, they will at times bring up certain questions for there to be elaboration. And at all times, alhamdulillah, you'll be hearing my voice. However, addressing certain concerns are certainly it's everybody's, not just everybody's responsibility, but it is also everybody's duty to act upon that. But we will continue with when we woke up in the living room. And so we began to speak English to one another, American English at that, youngsters English, the three of us in the living room, sitting across from Tante Abidjan. Tante Abidjan, alhamdulillah, she's mom of Musa Shah Noir. Tante Abidjan is, or she's the widow of Papa Abdul Karim Fall. She is actually his first surviving widow, alhamdulillah. So Papa Abdul Karim Fall gets this phone call while he's in Paris, and is Sidi Abdullah Had, the Khalifa General of Touba. The Khalifa General of Touba would not, call one who is on medical leave, vacation, taking care of business. I mean, I will attest to the fact that whenever he came back from Paris, he brought back so many gifts for everybody, even for those who, were elders and they did not see him on a regular basis. And that was the beauty of him coming back from Paris. Whenever he came back from Paris, he was so happy, and he bought gifts and clothes for everybody. MashaAllah, may Allah reward him for that. So he gets this call, and it's the Khalifa General. Again, the Khalifa General, this is the son of Sayyid Abdul Ahad. Sayyid Abdul Ahad is the son of Sering Tuba, so he is the third Khalifa. His two elder brothers, they were the first and the second. Muhammad al-Mustafa being the first Khalifa, and Muhammad al-Fadil being the second Khalifa. Now, Sering Abdul Ahad is the third Khalifa. So he says to him, whatever you're doing, leave it and come to me in Tuba. These were his orders. This is what Gainde Mustafa dad narrates that he received, or the statement that he received from Archive. And he leaves Paris and he comes to Tuba, and along the way he is saying to himself, I don't know what the general is calling me for. The Khalifa General. Well, today sitting Murtala is the Khalifa General in Tuba. However, Baba Abdul Karim Fall, Aka, he is saying, I don't know what Khalifa General wants from me today. The trip from Paris, I don't see how it wouldn't take, well, I can't really say. I think he flew commercial. This is my assumption. I mean, I never recall going with him to the airport, or any other who had accompanied with him to the airport to say that he had a private jet. I wouldn't say that he didn't rent a private jet. And I wouldn't say also, I really cannot say how he flew. However, he got there, and as fast as he got there, he is told, take these 3 Americans to your house. and he's not told anything else. And so he takes us, and he says, not knowing what to do with those boys. So he gave them, our documents, our passports, and whatever travel documents that were given to him, to the Khalifa General. He passed them over to Abdul Karim Fall. And what I did get, which is clear from Tanta Abidjan, of course, when he gets back from Paris, and this had to be a surprise return for him. That being the case, then he really didn't have time to do everything that he wanted to do as far as the gifts are concerned. So I can imagine that he was really upset. I can just imagine that he was, like, why? So then he goes directly into his quarters, and he puts us in his wife's quarters. He has 2 other wives living in the compound. Yes, he does have 2 other wives. He has Njogu Fall's wife, who is the Khalifa, is Khalifa in the United States. And then he has Tanta Abi Fall, who, is a wife living there. Well, Tanta Abi Fall, okay, Tanfanjai was still living there. So let's go over this again. And we will have to take, a very brief break, and we will come back. Jazakumullah. Assalamu alaikum.